What's up, interwebs? Welcome to the Storytime Podcast. I'm Tim.
I'm Adam.
And this is where we go through my first novel. This is season 1, so we're going through the first novel I ever wrote and completed. Angelic Wars, Legend of the Godchild. Angelic Wars, book 1. So,
It's the only book.
Yeah, there's no other books, but that's what's on the cover, so we got to say it every time.
Exactly.
Don't ask me how we got contractually obligated to say it every time. It's my book, but somehow
I know.
it got in there.
And it's on your channel.
I know, exactly.
It's so weird.
Anyway, but we go through it. Adam reads a chapter, then we discuss that chapter and everything that comes before if it applies.
No, I'm sorry. What you mean to say is I try to read a chapter.
Now, he reads a chapter. He may mess up because he's an inconvenient, a babbling lunatic who's trying to be a narrator.
I don't know what you're
Nothing to do
talking
with the prose at all. The prose are perfect.
Right.
Even in my first novel.
Oh.
Anyway, before we get to the reading, we got some stuff we got to take care of. First off, if you're interested in some bad gameplay, go check out Adam's channel, ZOP Gaming. They're great at being pro gamers.
We are the best of the mid.
They're the best at being mid.
So mid.
Just mid? Just before mid?
We're a group of friends playing games. That's about it.
No one's going to want to watch it now.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. They want to go check it out.
Anyway, go check out that. If you're from my channel, if you go on enjoy it, I'd love you if you hit that like button. Nope, smash it and do it as a prayer for the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe to get content on this channel that will be up on the screen at the end. With that being said, let's get to the reading, and we'll be back for the conversation.
Chapter 21. The Angel's Sword. Sage and Cyrus sat around the fire, staring at the flames dancing freely. An hour had passed since Cyrus and Natalie first arrived at the safe haven. She had been quiet since she and Sage had talked. The tears had stopped rolling down her face, and the way she looked at the fire, something was on her mind. "Sage?" she said. "Yeah?" Sage replied. "Why didn't you tell me..." Are you fucking kidding me? "Why didn't you tell me you were an angel? I thought angels couldn't lie." "I did not lie to you," Sage said. "For as long as you knew me, I had no clue I was an angel, let alone the captain of all angels." "Then how did you find out?" Natalie said. "That task I was on that I told you about in my note," Sage began. "Well, Cyrus had come to talk to me the night before. After talking to a friend that I actually knew better than I thought, I decided to accept the task, which turned out is how I got my memory back. Cyrus had me looking for my sword, which the Almighty had tied to my memory that I lost." "Well, not really lost. He was the one that blocked my memory. He just decided to make my sword the way I got it back." "Was it hard to find?" Natalie asked. "It was more frustrating than hard," Sage answered. Will you tell me about how you found it?" Natalie asked. "Sure," Sage said. "I've been on the mountain where Dr. Toller's house was 2 days before I knew where the sword was located." "What is that feeling?" Sage asked himself. "Could that be the sword? Cyrus said I was linked to it, and it is calling to me. If it's my sword, why do I know that it is not just the sword? I feel 7 life forms in the exact same area. I better hurry before they take it." Sage continued forward, and within a few minutes, he walked into a small clearing that was surrounded by trees. What little light was left crept into the opening. At the far end of the clearing near the trees, he could see his sword stuck in the ground. Before he continued, he looked around and grabbed the handle of his sword ready to draw it. Remembering what Cyrus had told him, he started moving forward very slowly, not seeing the life forms he had sensed only a few minutes ago. He got about a fourth of the way to his sword when 3 dragpents jumped out and attacked him, 1 from behind him and 2 from each side. Sage quickly drew his sword and turned and forced it into the chest of the dragpent to his right. With a backflip kick, he knocked the dead creature to the ground and pulled the sword from its chest. Sage landed with his back to the dragpent that was on his left. He quickly had to jump out of the way of that one's attack. Once he landed, he charged the creature jumping onto its back and and stuck his blade into the back of its neck. Before the creature fell to the ground, Sage jumped off, pulling the sword out of the creature's neck. As he came down through the air, the last Dragpent stood ready to attack. However, Sage was ready for it. As he came down, he jammed the sword into the top of its head. The creature fell over dead, while Sage stood amazed at what he just did. "How did I do that?" Sage asked. That was only 3. I thought I sent 7. Where are the other 4? Before he could take another step, the other 4 jumped out and went to grab him. He grabbed the sword at the top of the other Dragpent's skull and chopped off the arm of the 2 of the charging creatures. Followed by a spinning jump, he sliced it across the chest, causing the creature to fall to the ground. One of the remaining 2 Dragpents grabbed him and held him for the other to attack. Sage struggled to get free, but was unable to. The other creature came charging, ready to kill him. Just as the Dragpent reached him, he raised the sword. Just as the Dragpent reached him, he raised the sword and stabbed it right through the heart. The creature fell backwards, and Sage held onto the sword, pulling it out as he killed the creature. Once the sword was free, Sage turned the sword so the blade ran even with his arm, then drove it right back into the Dragpent's side. The creature let go, and he spun around, slicing right through its neck. With all 7 Dragpents dead, they all burst into black smoke and were gone. "How am I able to do this?" Sage asked himself. "Is that all there is? Are there any more? I don't sense any more creatures. Wait a minute. Those creatures were from my dreams. I cannot wait any longer. I need to know my past." Sage continued to walk towards the sword when 3 Shadkins appeared out of the shadows and stood behind him. He quickly realized that the fight was not over. He turned around only to get hit by the blade of the center Shadkin. The power from the hit sent Sage flying the rest of the way across the clearing, and he hit against a tree. He then fell to the ground and gasped for air. The creature moved towards him, but when he opened his eyes, he saw that he was right next to his sword. The creatures realized where they knocked him and moved even faster to get him. Sage jumped up and grabbed his sword and started to pull, when one of the Shadkins nailed him across the chest, which sent him back into and through the same tree. The blade of that Shadkin left slashed across his chest, from which blood started to gush out as he slowly began to stand. The same Shadkin went to finish him with the final blow. As the blade of the Shadkin was about to hit, Sage blocked and attacked with his sword. The Shadkin was shocked to see the sword. "You helped me pull it out when you hit me," Sage said, looking right into the Shadkin's eyes. As Sage held the sword, stopping the blade from killing him, bright white angel wings shot out of his back. The light was bright, and the Shadkin dropped back to where the other 2 Shadkins were. Sage did not waste any time. Using his strong winds, he flew at them. And before they could even try to block or counter, Sage slashed through all of 3 of them. They fell to the ground and faded away. "Go back to the abyss where you belong," Sage said. "It feels good to be back to normal." However, that was definitely not Monono's whole army. Sage looked at him, his clothes ripped away and dirty from the battle. "I need to change," Sage said as he spread his wings and took to the sky. "Wow," Natalie said. "Yeah," Sage replied. "I am still feeling the pain from that creature's blade. However, that was not all the story, because after I changed, I had to go save Kiana. The Shadkin found her where she was being hidden. I barely got to her in time, or the creatures would have killed her." "Is she okay?" Natalie asked. "She's okay," Sage said. "A few bruises and scrapes are all." The Shadkin rushed at Kiana with its new weapon and slashed at her. She quickly jumped towards the door from her kneeling position just before the blade slashed through the floor. Kiana quickly got up and ran out the door into the woods. With the Shadkin right behind her, she tripped and fell to the ground only several feet from the cabin. When she looked back, the Shadkin was upon her and was bringing down the blade on her body. She closed her eyes, awaiting the blow, but it never came. So she opened her eyes, only to see the Shadkin's blade had been stopped by a sword. She looked up to see Sage flying over her, holding tightly onto the weapon as he had used to stop the attack. "Sage!" Kiana said, excited to see him, and then she noticed the wings coming out of his back. "You're an angel?" Sage looked at her and said, "Yeah, I'll explain in a minute." Sage quickly forced the blade up and slashed at the Shadkin, forcing it to stumble backwards. Once it gained its balance, it looked down to see a huge slash across its chest, with blood oozing out.
"I got what I came for,"
said the Shadkin, holding up the scroll. Sage saw it and rushed in and attacked, thrusting his sword into the body, only as the Shadkin faded backwards from the body, avoiding the attack. Sage pulled his sword from the fake lifeless body of Dr. Toller, ready to attack the Shadkin again, but before he could, it faded into the shadows with the scroll. Sage tore a piece of Dr. Toller's shirt off. He wiped his blade clean and returned to Kiana, who was already on her feet, admiring his wings. "Why didn't you tell me you were an angel?" Kiana asked. "I just found out today," Sage said. "Well, I remembered today. Long story." "I have time," Kiana said. "I don't," Sage said. Cyrus thinks the reason why Monono did not kill Natalie was because he needed to wait until midnight. Actually, it was because he did not have the scroll. "Yeah," Kiana said. "I should have told him. I forgot that I had it and Natalie's pushed me out the window. I was more worried about her getting caught. Having the scroll escaped my mind." "Well, now they have it," Sage said. "Cyrus left to go help Natalie escape. He is going to need my help, especially if they're going to go down to kill her when he is opening the cell." "You weren't going to leave too?" Kiana asked, grabbing him around the waist so he couldn't leave. "I have to," Sage said. "Go into the house and stay. Once we have Natalie, I will be back for you. Trust me, you still have that weapon Cyrus gave you." "Yes," Kiana said and let go of Sage to pull it from her pocket. "Use it if any creature comes back," Sage said. Before Kiana could respond, Sage took off through the trees into the sky. Kiana was shocked that he moved faster than Cyrus did. She quickly remembered what Sage had said and ran inside and shut the door. "From there, I came to help with your rescue," Sage said. "Wow," Natalie said. "You should try to get some sleep now," Sage said. "You're going to need your strength." Sage stood up and walked over to Cyrus and motioned for him to follow him. Sage continued to walk outside down the path to where he and Cyrus had both landed. Cyrus walked over to Natalie and picked up the blanket again and placed it over her shoulders. After placing the blanket on her shoulders, he whispered something into her ear which made her turn and look at him. He nodded his head and headed outside the cave. Cyrus walked out of the cave and down the path to where Sage was waiting for him. As he approached him, he had his back to him. He had head staring up into the night sky, looking at the few stars that were visible. After a few moments, Cyrus decided to leave him alone and started back up to the cave. "Beautiful, are they not?" Sage said. "You mean the stars?" Cyrus asked. "Yes," Sage replied. "Of course they are," Cyrus said. "Everything the Almighty created is. It represents him and how perfect he is." "Cyrus, you have no idea what I'm talking about," Sage said. "What are you talking about?" he said. "While I was like them," Sage began, the Almighty granted me the pleasure of being as close as possible to man as I could without actually becoming human. What was it like? Cyrus asked. We all wish we could experience what they have, Sage said. I got the closest of any of us will ever get. Looking at this sky now makes me wish I could experience it the way I did when I was still like them. To stare up at the night sky and let my imagination run wild on how big the universe is. However, now I look at the sky and I can answer the question. Well, that should make you feel even more whole, knowing that you could answer the question, Cyrus said. Not really, Sage replied. There's something about not knowing that is so filling. I could not even begin to explain what it feels like. I feel so bad for them now, so busy trying to learn all they can, when it is such an amazing feeling to know that you actually have no clue. The really sad thing is, they will never experience it. Out of my whole experience as a human, I wish I could have had the experience knowing what the Almighty was like and being able to have that feeling looking at his creation. Sage lowered his head for a few moments, then turned and faced Cyrus and walked over to him. He placed his hand on his shoulder. The experience I had was so incredible. I wish now it did not end, Sage said. However, I am honored to be allowed to experience it. It is now past, and we have a job to do. The reason why I called you here is that we have some work to do. What is it? Cyrus asked. Natalie will have to stay in hiding until Monono is defeated, Sage answered. I was not sure how long that could be until I came out here. Tonight, Monono's reign comes to an end. The Almighty has told me nothing on how it will end, but he will be defeated. What do you have to do? Cyrus asked. First, Sage began, I need to get Kiana. I left her at the cabin when I helped her out after you left. I was not expecting such a loud escape for Natalie. Now that they have no one, they will go after the one they know where her location is. However, I have a task for you, which is to do your best. Spy on Monono. Okay, Cyrus said. Just watch or engage if they come after Natalie. No, Sage said. Just watch. I do not want to leave Natalie alone. That is why I am going now. If I'm not back within an hour, you will have to leave her. Do you think that's wise? Cyrus asked. No, Sage said. However, I'm not leaving her unarmed. If you have to leave, you are to give her this. Sage pulled out a long crystal dagger, so fine that it was clearly not from this world. A tiny whitish blue glow surrounded the dagger. You want me to give her the coral dagger? Cyrus asked. That is one of the most powerful weapons in existence. Well, next to your sword, that is. If she uses it wrong, she would be killed and in the worst possible death. I know what could happen, Sage said. However, we have no choice. The Almighty told me to pick a weapon to give to her so she could defend herself. I was thinking of that in case Monono sent his whole coven after us. However, I see that it is not for that reason. I'm just glad that I thought to ask for the dagger instead of now. I don't like this, Cyrus said. You think I want to give a weapon to her that if she uses it with even a speck of wrong motive, Sage said, she would be put through a horrific death. She would be put through a horrific death that seems billions of years have passed when it only happens in a second. I think not. You are only to give her this if you have to. If so, then make sure she knows exactly how to use it. I will, Cyrus said. You gonna say goodbye before you leave? I most likely should not, Sage said. However, with the state she is in, I am not sure she would understand. Okay, Cyrus said. The two angels headed back up the path to the mouth of the cave. As they walked, Cyrus put the coral dagger into his coat. Once they reached the top of the path, they both walked into the cave. When they reached the fire where Natalie was, they found her asleep. Not wanting to wake her, Sage bent over, pulled the blanket that had fallen off her back over her shoulders, and gave her a peck on the cheek. "Sleep well," Sage whispered into her ear. Then he stood and looked at Cyrus, who had sat down on the other side of the fire. "Keep her safe." "I will," Cyrus said as the two extended hands. They reached past their hands and grabbed each other's forearms. "Move fast." "I will," Sage said. He turned and began to run as fast as he could towards the mouth of the cave. With each step, his speed increased until he was moving extremely fast. As soon as he reached the mouth of the cave, his wings shot out of his back, and he took off into the night sky.
So Adam.
Yeah, Tim.
So the chapter.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on this chapter?
Do you want me to start off with the fact that we have a couple of people that have just been... Well, we left off the last chapter. Sage and Cyrus walked out of the cave. They were clearly going to have a conversation. And they're back in the cave, and it's been an hour since, Cyrus and Natalie showed up.
Oh, I got that to cover my notes.
Yeah.
You want me to cover my notes?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, writer guy. So Sage and Cyrus go out to the cave to talk. Producer guy. Are they going to make plans to stop Manono?
Manano?
Manano. That's not what you wrote. I accidentally hit the O instead of the A button. I just don't want to change it so we're just going to call him that.
Okay.
I think that's stupid, but what do they plan? Nothing. The next chapter, they just go back into the cave, and an hour has passed. And Sage is going to explain how he got his sword in a flashback. Why not wait until after they got Keanu and Natalie are safe and maybe deal with Manono?
No.
Because I need her to get captured again to lure Sage away from Natalie. Anyway, back to how he got his sword. Sage is going to get it from a group of Dragpins and Shadkins. That's going to be impossible. He only has a sword. Oh no, it's going to be super easy. No convenience at all.
All right. Yeah, you lost your place.
Yeah, I did. He's just going to slash through not with any real resistance. Really? Shouldn't it be some kind of struggle, at least a question posed about can he get his sword?
Yeah, a setback of some sort.
Guess. We could do it where Sage gets to the sword and he gets backhanded by a Shadkin and flies off. Oh, perfect. That makes a lot of sense when he got through the drag pin, so now he's got to figure out how he's going to outsmart these creatures. Oh no, he's going to just get the sword because the actor's back is going to help him pull it out of there. Oh dear God. Yeah, that's all my notes for this chapter. I didn't write anything else. I just wrote the skit of the pitch meeting for it because that's all I could think of about this chapter. As he opens up the...
I'm just going to... Sorry, I went too far. I went a full chapter back.
Oh no.
That wasn't good. But look, it's wonderful that Natalie was like, "Hey, how'd you get your sword back?" And then we jump immediately to nothing saying previously on the mountain. No. Just what a feeling.
There's little stars there to let you know we're going to a different point of view.
Yeah, but in narration, I don't have the little stars.
You saw them on the screen, on there.
Yeah, the audience isn't going to hear star, 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 star.
Well, you are supposed to be the one as the narrator to figure out how to present that to them.
The writer is the one who should actually be fixing that.
That's how they do it in actual novels.
But yeah, there
could have been a little bit more set up to explain that it is a flashback, but that was not originally how that was supposed to happen.
No, then we jump back to Kiana.
Yep, you mean Natalie?
No, well, I mean we do pop back into Natalie so she can be like, "Wow," and then we talk about how Sage rescued Kiana.
Yep.
That's and then there's just a lot of Sage waxing poetic in here. Look at the stars, bro. Look at them. They're like stars.
Adam, you forgot to point out the entirety of the end of the last chapter gets almost copy and paste.
Oh yeah, no. It other than Natalie still crying, literally the last sentence of the previous chapter, and a random sentence in the middle of this chapter. Cyrus places the blanket on Natalie's shoulders. He whispers something into her ear, and she turns and looks at him. He nods his head and then heads outside the cave. The end of the previous chapter ended the same way.
Yeah, because I was supposed to remove that from the last chapter, and I didn't, apparently.
No, you did not. And then finally, we get Cyrus and Sage having their conversation that they meant to have at the end of last chapter, or the beginning of this chapter.
I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be the beginning. No, I actually think the original draft that happens at the end of the last chapter.
Yeah. Instead, we have Natalie, Cyrus, and Sage hanging out for an hour
before we get the story.
Before we get the backstory.
Yep.
Literally just hanging out. They don't have any other conversation. Nothing gets done.
From what I remember, when I did, because again, I thought this was a different draft, and then this draft was the draft that we actually have, where I thought this was in order of events, where originally we got to a point. Sage gets the sword, and I actually think at one point there's a spot in when Natalie's still captured.
Yeah.
Cyrus comes.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure that was Sage as Michael talking to her, because there's something that she hints at. She says like, why didn't you tell me this when you were got left in?
Why didn't you tell me before now?
No, not that.
Because I didn't know.
No, not that part. There's something in the last chapter during the rescue.
Oh.
And she said something about like that hints about that, and I do think I remember having that in one of the drafts, but because I couldn't figure out Sage's arc to and adventure to get the sword, because I had never written a novel before.
Yeah.
I decided, when I put this, apparently do some rework it before I finally gave up on this for 2 more years. Wait, what is it? It says July on there, right?
Yep. March.
Oh, March. Okay, yeah, about 2 years, because it was around March of 2009 is when I started watching Supernatural again, and I started getting ideas for the actual series, that this book would be the first one in. I was going to rewrite it, obviously, but this one was like, okay, let me just, let's focus on the girls as the main character here. And then I decided, let's do some suspense. Let's figure out how to make it look like Kiana dies. Because I think I still, at one point, I ended the chapter where Kiana is about to be attacked by the Shadkin.
Yeah.
That is the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
I think the next chapter, Sage showed up as Michael. But we've already and I think he tells her the story of how he got it, and then they pray. And then that's when we would cut to the Shadkin going and telling Troll, yes, he's a troll. We're dealing with a troll, and no. So, but yeah, it's just like, I believe that there's certain events other than Sage capturing the sword, which I do think was always like a flashback, but I think it was to Kiana, not to Natalie. I moved it to here to build like, wait, when did this happen, what happened, without changing anything else in the beginning.
You didn't.
It would look better if we actually know this chapter was everything we've had so far. Him deciding to go on the quest, arriving at the mountain, going up, being attacked by the bear, learning about them getting attacked, wanting but deciding to continue. All that should have been this chapter, as well as him saving Kiana.
Yes.
But that would have been much better. But Again, first novel, didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, and then just when I made those changes, I did not remove things I should have removed.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, there's at least I do have to say, as a standalone chapter, it is very consistent. It does tell, it fills us in with what Sage has been up to.
Yep.
I do love the fact that I am doing him Michael form, battle form basically, has a deeper, more powerful voice. And then like normal Sage around Natalie is just like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I mean, I got my memories back, but wow, I'm still trying to figure out, my human things that I experienced not knowing my stuff. And then all the stuff that I know, that I actually know. God, this is difficult. Cyrus is like, it's okay, kid. Don't worry about it. Open up yourself a Steve Weiser and remember to turn the page. Remember,
I swear, one of these
to flip to Austin 316 and open up a can of whoop ass on my no.
I swear, one of these days, Adam, we're going to get a book where you'll keep the voices consistent.
I don't think I will ever do that.
You'll be consistent. One of them, if we do Marks of Valera, book 1, if we do both versions of the first draft, because one is in third person and the other one is in first person.
Oh.
So you get to do Zach's voice impersonating his friend's voice, all the other people's voices.
See, that one. I'm just, this is how he sounds in my head all the time. And you're like, wow, why does he always sound like he's just dumb? And you're like, because that's how Zach hears him. Oh, look, I just want to go home, guys.
But,
When in reality, he keeps saying, we need to get back to my mom's house so that we can fight the evilness away.
No. Anyway, but overall, like, building up to this point in the book, what do you think? Like, obviously, we know it shouldn't be this chapter should not exist.
No, it should exist.
Not right here.
But it feels like, as I said, as a standalone chapter, it does a very good job conveying the information that it needs to.
Yes.
Within the overall story right now, it kind of feels that this is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the filler episode that you could have sprinkled into other chapters before this.
Yeah.
It's kind of an unnecessary chapter. But at the same time, that entire conversation between Cyrus and Sage, the whole, not knowing was such a wonderful thing. The bliss of ignorance.
Yeah.
And now he's like, I know exactly all the answers. And I don't enjoy it because there's no what if anymore. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I try that. That's also the problem of growing up.
So also, I want to point out something.
Yeah.
In the time frame that Sage going outside.
Yeah.
Cyrus putting the blanket on Kiana, whispering in her ear. Again, we still have no clue.
What is he saying to her? Twice now.
It's a confession.
I'm the Almighty.
Yes.
And she's like, you're doing a bad job of hiding it.
In between this and him walking out there, Cyrus, through telepathy, tells Sage the Minono's reign ends tonight.
Oh, yes, that. And somehow Sage gets that crystal dagger at some point.
Oh, it's basically it's supposed to imply that he got it in between when he got his powers back, his memories back, and it became an angel, and everything that's happened past that.
Right. Okay. It happened at some point.
Yeah, that's basically what. But the funny thing is when Sage says, when he's talking about the Almighty told him, and what Cyrus is saying back to him, like,
yeah,
Sage has no clue that's the Almighty right there until I reveal Cyrus is not the Almighty.
Yeah.
But he still might be the Almighty.
He totally could be.
He's just being a total jackass at the moment and deciding not to be helpful.
Come on, gods are a little tricky. All of them. Zeus likes to, have sex with everything and will disguise who he is in order to be able to do that.
Yeah, but he's not powerful enough to stop his teeny tiny lightning bolt from killing a person.
No. He doesn't have that power. Teeny tiny lightning bolt.
You don't remember that story? It's one of the people that Zeus would go to on a regular basis. So Hera came to her and like, how do you know he's Zeus? You should have him prove it. Have him show you his lightning bolt, knowing it would kill her to see the lightning bolt. And when he shows up next, he's like, I can't. It will kill you. He's like, so he shows her the teeniest, tiny one possible, and she still dies.
Well,
and he knows it's Hera who's doing it.
He's like, man, I showed her my lightning bolt, and it was super teeny tiny, and she still died from it. It's like, damn, dude, why are you built like a tuna can?
See, at that point, it's like,
wide.
She's gonna die regardless. I'm showing her the true size of my thunder.
Yeah, he should just
my thunderbolt.
He's like, Hera's like, it's not. Your lightning bolt isn't that big.
He's gonna go like, wait, hold on. No, sorry, wrong podcast. Sorry, wrong podcast.
Yeah,
that's
come on, dude.
That's a wrestling podcast we gotta talk about.
we still need to catch up on last year's best of awards.
Oh, we'll get. Don't worry, we have time. We're doing that next. We're doing that next.
Okay, cool,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. This is basically a filler episode. One way you could do it is build the time in to make this work. Now that past him could have done this well.
Oh yeah,
it would just been very like but basically
slam it on the table.
No, just like no subtlety, no like finessing it. I don't think that I could.
The Tim style?
The past Tim style? Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably still the Tim style now.
Probably. I mean,
but is like, instead of saying it, he just touches her on the forehead and she sees the story.
Yes.
And then you live it through her watching the story.
Exactly.
And then not more time passes by him actually telling the story. It's instant. It's like instant. Where it feels like time has passed, but it's only been a moment.
Which also can tie into that wonderful crystal dagger, which would make her feel like she had lived billions of lifetimes, but it's only been a moment.
Yeah. That whole thing gets taken out of the book.
Okay.
Because he's supposed to tell her when he gives it to her in the next chapter.
Never tells her.
Don't stab this into the ground. Because that's originally the thing. If you stab in the ground, what happens will cause you to die. And will cause that painful death. It doesn't say that. I actually removed it for some reason. I don't know why.
No, it was said in this chapter if she uses it with malice.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Malicious intent.
But originally, if you stab it into the ground, you do it. And it would do that.
Also, I'm sorry, but how would you use a weapon without malicious intent? You don't intend to kill them. You're like, hey, I'm trying to heal you.
You're defending yourself.
I know.
But because you can go for, but like the rules don't even apply because that scene's still in there. She's still stuck to the ground, but okay. I never explained. And the malice intent is just implied. There's actually supposed to be rules that were supposed to be told.
Yeah.
That Cyrus knows is supposed to tell her that some reason I took out in this draft.
Oh God.
And that's just to take out some drag pins and some shadkins. Then we get Monono that pops up.
Okay.
And that whole thing is a whole bunch of It's a bunch of
malarkey.
No, it's a what's it called?
Kerfuffle.
Charlie Foxtrot. It's a giant Charlie's Foxtrot. Clusterfuck.
Oh, okay. You mean a fustercluck?
Fustercluck? Yeah, it's a giant fustercluck.
Yeah, fustercluck.
But we'll wait for that. I don't think that's the next chapter. I think that's a chapter. I think that's chapter 23.
Okay. All right.
Because as you've read ahead of time, we get she gets the stuff, and then we cut to something else. We come back to her in the next chapter. Chapter 23.
Yeah, we totally cut to something else in here.
Yep. So, all right. But anything else you want to add about this chapter?
No, not at all.
I think I'm gonna start doing a pitch meeting if I can think of one for each of the remaining chapters,
God.
just for the hell of it.
Man.
And you know what? I'm really annoyed by past Tim.
Yeah?
You know why?
Why?
We haven't had Chuck Smith show up.
No, we have not.
None of these people, not even Sage is a Chuck Smith.
No, he's not. No, he can't be.
Nope. Not at all.
Because he's a sage.
Yeah.
Because he's actually an angel named Michael, who's like, crap, I'm in charge of so much stuff. I don't want to be. I want to go back. I want to go back. Cyrus is like, stop it, kid. Here, have yourself a Steve Weiser. A Cyrus Weiser.
Wow.
Yeah, in my head now, Cyrus has now slowly just become Steve Austin.
Are you gonna read him as he's stone cold? You might as well at this point. You change his voice every.
First of all, kid.
The last few chapters you've had him.
According
captured the Texas.
Cyrus 316.
You've had him stay with the Texas Southern accent.
Yes.
You started Southern, then you went just full on Texas.
He's
just
from Texas.
Go full Steve Austin on him. But at this point, there's four
what?
There's four more chapters, Adam.
What?
There's four more chapters.
He's like, all right, Cyrus. All right, Cyrus. We're going to go out there and we're going to kick some ass.
Right.
Cyrus is like, yeah. He's like, give me a hell yeah. A what? I mean, a heaven yeah.
No.
Me damn it. Walks away.
Me damn it.
Like, hey, hold up.
Wait. Are you the? I can't confirm or deny. I already confirmed that the Almighty.
Just grabs a mic. What?
Are you the Almighty?
What?
I said,
what?
Are you the? Oh, you.
What?
What?
Now listen here, kiddo. Starts
All right, we're just gonna
shoulders.
wrap this up because we have nothing else to add to it. We're getting way into the pro wrestling element.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
But I have no doubt he's gonna be Steve Austin going forward.
Probably.
But since we have nothing else to add here, we'll go wrap this up. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, this filler episode of The Legend of the Godchild, Angelic Wars, Book 1. If you did, we'd love it if you'd comment down below. Let us know what your favorite part is, but also hit that like button. No, sacrifice the like button to help us fight the tainted algorithm.
Tainted algorithm?
Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when all my other stuff comes out and my content will be on screen. Now, pick one. If you don't want for that, go check out Adam's channel and watch some terrible gameplay.
Yeah, when did you start stealing my gimmick?
Because I wanted to. You stole it from me first, stole it from me, so I'm stealing it from you. Anyway, pick something. We'll see you there. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
What?